Carefully.
Carefully.
He folded the sheets up carefully.
You need to think very carefully about which course you want to do.
Carefully chosen words.
Caregiver.
Caregiver.
Care home.
Care home. Care in the community. Care in the community.
Care label.
Care label. Care label.
Careless.
Careless.
It was careless of him to leave the door unlocked.
A careless mistake.
Careless driving.
He's careless with his glasses and has lost 3 pairs. He's careless with his glasses and has lost 3 pairs.
Careless talk can be disastrous for a business. Careless talk can be disastrous for a business. He ran a hand through his hair with a careless gesture. A man careless of his own safety.
She gave a careless shrug.
Care package.
Care package.
Carer.
Carer.
Caress.
Caress.
His hands gently caressed her body. Waves caressed the shore. Waves caressed the shore.
Caretaker.
Caretaker.
Care worker.
Care worker.
Careworn.
Careworn.
A careworn expression.
Cargo.
Cargo.
A ship carrying a cargo of oil has run aground.
A cargo plane.
Cargo bike.
Cargo bike.
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Caribou.
Caribou.
Caricature.
Caricature.
Caricatures of politicians.
The report presents a caricature of the true situation.
Scientists are often caricatured as absent-minded professors. Scientists are often caricatured as absent-minded professors.
Caricaturist.
Caricaturist.
Carries.
Carries.
Carillion.
Carillon.
Caring.
Caring.
A warm and caring man.
A caring attitude.
The school aims to provide a caring environment. Many of the caring professions are badly paid.
More men are taking on a caring role.
Carjacking.
Carjacking.
Carload.
Carload.
A carload of tourists pulled up and asked for directions.
Carmine.
Carmine.
Carnage.
Carnage.
A scene of terrible carnage.
Carnal.
Carnal.
Carnal desires.
Carnation.
Carnation.
Carnet.
Carnet.
Carnival.
Carnival.
Preparations for this year's carnival.
When it's carnival in Rio.
A carnival atmosphere in the town.
Shakespeare's Carnival of Images.
Carnivore.
Carnivore.
Carib.
Carib.
Carol.
Carol.
Goodbye, caroled Boris happily.
Carotid artery.
Carotid artery.
Carouse.
Carouse.
Carousel.
Carousel.
Carp.
Carp.
He always finds something to carp about.
Carpaccio. Carpaccio. Carpaccio of beef.
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
Car park.
Car park.
Carpenter.
Carpenter.
Carpentry.
Carpentry.
Carpet.
Carpet.
My bedroom carpet is green.
All the rooms had fitted carpets.
A carpet of flowers.
He was called on the carpet by his boss to explain his excessive spending.
Carpet.
The building has been carpeted throughout.
Top officers were carpeted for bullying younger officers.
The whole garden was carpeted with daffodils.
Carpetbagger.
Carpetbagger.
Carpet bomb.
Carpet bomb.
Carpeting.
Carpeting.
A spacious room with wall-to-wall carpeting.
He was called to the manager's office for a carpeting.
Carpet slipper.
Carpet slipper.
Carpool.
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 Carport.
Carport.
Carol.
Carol.
Carriage.
Carriage.
Canals were originally built for the carriage of coal.
It costs £45.50 including carriage.
The carriage of a typewriter.
Her graceful carriage.
Carriage clock.
Carriage clock.
Carriageway.
Carriageway.
The northbound carriageway of the M1.
Carrier.
Carrier.
An international carrier.
Carriers of the lung disease TB.
A baby carrier.
Carrier bag.
Carrier bag.
Carrier pigeon.
Carrier pigeon.
Carrion.
Carrion.
Carrot.
Carrot.
Grated carrots.
Carrot juice.
They have refused to sign the agreement despite a carrot of £140 million.
The government's carrot and stick approach in getting young people to find jobs.
Carroty.
Carroty.
Carousel.
Carousel.
Carry.
Carry.
Gina was carrying a small bunch of flowers.
Angela carried the child in her arms.
Let me carry that for you.
Jack carried his grandson up the stairs.
The waiter carried our drinks to the table.
The ship was carrying drugs. There are more airplanes carrying more people than ever before.
A drain carries surplus water to the river.
The aim is for one wire to carry both television and telephone calls. This stretch of water carries a lot of shipping.
The bridge carries the main road over the railway. The bridge carries the main road over the railway.
Pollution was carried inland by the wind.
I don't carry a handbag. I just carry money in my pocket. All the soldiers carried rifles. He says he's got to carry a knife to protect himself.
Degree qualifications carry international recognition.
Few medical procedures carry no risk of any kind.
Older managers carry more authority in a crisis.
The plan is not likely to carry much weight with the authorities.
If the child believes in what she is saying, she will carry conviction.
The morning paper carried a story about demonstrations in New York and Washington, D.C. The national TV network carries religious programs. All tobacco products must carry a health warning.
Goods carrying the label, Made in the USA.
Each team member is expected to carry a fair share of the workload.
Which minister carries responsibility for the police? Parents carry the burden of ensuring that children go to school.
The sports shop carries a full range of equipment.
These two columns carry the whole roof.
The president wanted to carry the war to the northern states.
Blair carried his party to victory in 1997.
Clinton carried his campaign into Republican areas.
The disease is carried by a black fly which lives in the rivers.
Birds and monkeys can carry disease.
All our products carry a 12-month guarantee.
It's easy to get carried away when you can do so much with the graphics software.
The crowd were carried along on a tide of enthusiasm. You can be carried along by the atmosphere of an auction and spend more than you planned.
Drink driving should carry an automatic prison sentence.
Murder still carries the death penalty. In the winter air, sounds carry clearly.
The songs of the whales carry through the water over long distances.
Alice carried a map of the London Underground in her head. Alice carried a map of the London Underground in her head. I sang solos when I was 6 because I could carry a tune.
The highest voice carries the melody.
He had to carry a large majority of his colleagues to get the leadership.
Her appeal to common sense was what finally carried the day. Her appeal to common sense was what finally carried the day.
The amendment was carried by 292 votes to 246.
The resolution was carried unanimously.
Those in favour of the motion raise your arm. Those against? The motion is carried.
Cuban Americans play an important role in whether he carries Florida in the fall campaign.
He had a way of carrying his head on one side.
She carried herself straight and with confidence.
He has been left to carry the can for a decision he didn't make.
The team can't afford to carry any weak players.
I don't mind a joke, but this is carrying it too far.
Joe carries only 9 pounds more than when he was 20.
He's been carrying a torch for your sister for years.
Leaders in the mountains carried the torch of Greek independence.
She ran as fast as her legs could carry her.
The new team have to carry the work forward.
I was flattered to be offered the job, but wasn't sure if I could carry it off.
A film that carried off 3 Oscars.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Please carry on.
You'll have an accident if you carry on driving like that. I want to carry on with my course. He stopped and looked back, then carried on down the stairs.
Carry straight on until you get to the traffic lights.
He stopped and looked back, then carried on down the stairs.
Carry straight on until you get to the traffic lights.
Mr. Dean carried on his baking business until he retired.
It was so noisy it was hard to carry on a conversation.
I wish everyone would stop carrying on about it.
Lucy confessed to carrying on behind her husband's back. Lucy confessed to carrying on behind her husband's back. She was carrying on with a neighbour.
We need to carry out more research.
A survey is now being carried out nationwide.
Turn off the water supply before carrying out repairs.
Nicholson didn't carry out his threat to take legal action. Nicholson didn't carry out his threat to take legal action.
We carried out our instructions precisely. We carried out our instructions precisely. Will the government carry out its promise to reform the law?
The pain and violence of his childhood were carried over into his marriage.
Up to 5 days' holiday can be carried over from one year to the next.
I'm determined to carry this through.
Her confidence carried her through.
Up to 5 days' holiday can be carried over from one year to the next.
Carry-all.
Carry-all.
Carry-cot.
Carry-cot.
Carry-on.
Carry-on. What a carry-on!
Carry-out.
Carry-out.
Carry-over.
Carry-over.
Some of the problems schools are facing are a carryover from the previous government's policies.
The budget includes a £7 million carry-over from last year.
Car seat.
Car seat.
Car sick.
Car sick. Cart. Cart.
Household waste is carted away by the city's sanitation department. Household waste is carted away by the city's sanitation department.
We carted all the furniture upstairs. We carted all the furniture upstairs.
He collapsed and had to be carted off to hospital.
Car tax.
Car tax.
Carte blanche. Carte blanche.
The new manager will be given carte blanche as long as she can increase the company's profits.
She had carte blanche to produce a film suitable for children.
Cartel.
Cartel.
An illegal drug cartel.
Carter.
Carter.
Cart horse.
Cart horse.
Cartilage.
Cartilage.
Cartload.
Cartload.
Cartloads of hay.
Cartography.
Cartography.
Carton.
Carton.
A carton of fruit juice.
A milk carton.
A carton of cigarettes.
Cartoon.
Cartoon.
Cartoon characters such as Donald Duck.
Cartoonist.
Cartoonist.
Cartoon strip.
Cartoon strip.
Cartridge.
Cartridge.
Computer game cartridges.
An ink cartridge for a printer.
Cartridge paper.
Cartridge paper.
Cart track.
Cart track.
Cartwheel.
Cartwheel.
The children were doing cartwheels in the park. Carve.
Carve.
A statue carved from a single block of marble.
Carved wooden chairs.
Someone had carved their initials on the tree.
Carve the meat into slices. Who's going to carve?
He carved a niche for himself as a writer. He carved a niche for himself as a writer. She carved out a successful career in the film industry. He moved to Boston to carve out a new life for himself.
The river had carved channels in the limestone rock.
The company carved $1 million from its budget. The Ottoman Empire was carved up by Britain and France after World War I. The Ottoman Empire was carved up by Britain and France after World War I.
The two companies are attempting to carve up a large slice of America's publishing industry between them. The two companies are attempting to carve up a large slice of America's publishing industry between them.
Carver.
Carver.
Carvery.
Carvery.
Carve up.
Carve up.
Carving.
Carving.
Carving fork.
Carving fork.
Carving knife.
Carving knife.
Car wash.
Car wash.
Caryatid.
Caryatid.
Casanova.
Casanova.
Casbah.
Casbah.
Cascade.
Cascade.
Her hair fell over her shoulders in a cascade of curls. Her hair fell over her shoulders in a cascade of curls.
Her thick black hair cascaded down below her waist. Gallons of water cascaded over the side of the bath.
This information will be cascaded down to employees through their line managers.
Case. Case.
There were 16 cases of damage to cars in the area.
The amount of fruit in fruit juices must be 6% in the case of berries and 10% in the case of other fruits.
In many cases, standards have improved. Tom's career is a case in point. A classic case of poor design.
Like the others, he produced a written explanation, but in Scott's case, this was a 30-page printed booklet.
Changing men's and women's traditional roles is not easy, but in our case it has been helpful.
It may be the case that the scheme will need more money. We tend to think of these people as untrustworthy, but that is not the case. In this case, several solutions could be tried. He won't want to eat it unless he's really hungry, in which case he'll eat almost anything. He won't want to eat it unless he's really hungry, in which case he'll eat almost anything.
Take an umbrella in case it rains. He had his camera ready, just in case he saw something that would make a good picture. In case I'm late, start without me. I don't see why I couldn't do it. In any case, I'm going to try.
He's too young to come, and in any case, I want him to spend the time with Mom.
He didn't want to talk to Sally. In that case, why did he agree to meet her?
A group of us met to make our case for more women in the cabinet.
There is a strong case for getting parents more involved in the school's activities.
Let me research the facts before I put forward a case. She is keen to avoid a court case.
The lawyers will only be paid if they win the case.
Marshall has dropped the case against us.
The evidence does not support the prosecution's case.
The court ruled that we had a case.
A case of armed robbery.
Around 50 police officers are on the case.
A packing case. A case of wine.
A jewelry case.
Jim put his violin back in its case. Polly carried her cases upstairs to the bedroom.
Everyone can learn, it's just a case of practicing.
It's a case of too many people and not enough jobs.
There are thousands of new cases of AIDS in Africa every year.
In case of fire, break the glass.
Case endings.
Dad's always on my case about something or other. Dad's always on my case about something or other.
Okay, just get off my case.
The reactor will be cased in metal.
Casebook.
Casebook.
Case history.
Case history.
Case law.
Case law.
Caseload.
Caseload.
Casement.
Casement.
Case sensitive.
Case sensitive.
Case study.
Case study.
Casework.
Casework.
Cash. Cash.
Cash was taken during a burglary of the apartment. The traffic police will accept fines in cash immediately. The traffic police will accept fines in cash immediately. The shop charges less if the customer pays in cash. The shop charges less if the customer pays in cash.
Health and education need cash from the government.
A phone line to help children in trouble has been closed due to lack of cash.
Charity workers must constantly raise more cash for the needy.
The company found itself strapped for cash to pay taxes.
Charity workers must constantly raise more cash for the needy.
The company found itself strapped for cash to pay taxes.
Travelers' checks can be cashed at most hotels for a small charge.
Where can I get this cashed?
The record company was trying to cash in on her fame by releasing early teenage recordings.
Cash advance.
Cash advance.
It seems so easy to get a $100 cash advance every few days at a local ATM machine.
Cash and carry. Cashback.
Cashback.
I got £40 cash back.
Price on the road, £8,750, but on top of that, we'll give you £500 cash back.
Cash bar.
Cash bar.
Cash box.
Cash box.
Cash card.
Cash card.
Cash cow.
Cash cow.
Cash desk.
Cash desk.
Cash crop.
Cash crop.
Cash discount.
Cash discount.
Cash dispenser.
Cash dispenser.
Cashew.
Cashew. Cash flow. Cash flow.
We expect a rise in both our production and our cash flow.
The builder is unable to pay due to cash flow problems.
Cashier.
Cashier.
Cash in hand.
Cash in hand.
Cashless.
Cashless.
A cashless pay system.
The cashless society.
Cash machine.
Cash machine.
Cashmere.
Cashmere.
I wish I could afford a cashmere sweater.
Cash point.
Cash point.
Cash register. Cash register. Cash starved.
Cash starved.
Cash-starved public services.
Cash strapped.
Cash strapped.
Cash-strapped governments.
Cash-strapped shoppers.
Casing.
Casing.
Casino.
Casino.
Doesn't that club have a casino upstairs?
Casino bank.
Casino bank.
Cask.
Cask.
A cask of rum.
Casket.
Casket.
Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Cassava.
Cassava.
Casserole.
Casserole.
Chicken casserole.
Cassette.
Cassette. Cassette player.
Cassette player.
Cassette recorder.
Cassette recorder.
Cassock.
Cassock.
Cast.
Cast.
Research findings that cast new light on the origin of our universe.
The numerous biographies of Baldwin cast little light on the subject. Her documentary cast serious doubt on Gilligan's conviction.
The flames cast dancing shadows on the walls.
The shade cast by low-hanging branches.
The allegations cast a cloud over the mayor's visit.
Her father's illness cast a shadow over the wedding celebrations.
She cast an anguished look at Guy.
The young tramp cast him a wary glance.
She blushed, casting her eyes down.
Mellor cast an eye over the draft for inaccuracies.
Tonight, Tim Goodman casts a cynical eye on TV ads.
Barely 1 in 3 will bother to cast a ballot on February 26th. Barely 1 in 3 will bother to cast a ballot on February 26th.
To qualify, candidates must get at least 10% of the votes cast.
Hong Kong casts a spell over the visitor almost as soon as the aircraft touches down.
She's a witch, and she'll cast a spell on you if she catches you.
Cast your mind back to your first day at school.
He frowned, casting his mind back over the conversation. He frowned, casting his mind back over the conversation.
Remarks that cast aspersions on the integrity of the jury.
A statue of a horse cast in bronze.
Pfeiffer was expected to be cast alongside Douglas in Basic Instinct. Coppola cast him as Soda Pop in The Outsiders.
The producer finally cast Finch in the male lead.
Clinton had cast himself as the candidate of New Economic Opportunity.
Clark's trying to cast me in the role of villain here.
Sparks leapt as he cast more wood on the fire.
There's a trick to casting properly.
Mamet should, in her opinion, be cast into prison.
We cast our net wide to get the right person for the job. We cast our net wide to get the right person for the job. We cast our net wide to get the right person for the job.
She cast about frantically for an excuse.
Telecoms companies are casting around for ways of recouping huge losses.
When Henry became king, he cast aside all his former friends.
Cast aside your fears.
If you were cast away on a desert island, what would you miss most?
His family had cast him off without a penny.
Cast off 4 stitches.
Cast on 132 stitches.
God has cast out the demons from your soul.
A body had been cast up on the rocks.
Films like Ben-Hur have a cast of thousands.
The entire cast of Les Miserables.
An all-star cast. A strong supporting cast. A member of the cast.
Murray has his leg in a cast.
Make a cast of the statue.
Mary was of a far less intellectual cast of mind.
Sage leaves have a silvery cast.